Does a matchup like this ever get old preparing for it?
Never gets old. It's always a fun opportunity to go down there. Jerry's World, one of my favorite stadiums to play at. The environment's always going to be great. It's Eagles versus Dallas. So we're excited for it. We know they're a different team than what you see early in the season. Obviously, this man over here, Tank, you got to see a small sample of that on Monday night when they played the Raiders because game kind of got out of hand. But we're excited for the opportunity and we're excited for that matchup.
Quentin Williams down in the middle of that defense. What are you seeing after watching that Raiders tape?
He's a heck of a player. I don't know why New York traded him, to be honest, but hey, I'm not going to get into all that. But, sadly he's in Dallas, but I love our guys, so I love that matchup. We know it's going to be a tough matchup, but something that we got to keep an eye out for. But they have great players on all levels, on all three levels. So we just got to go out there and kind of get back to playing our football and executing and doing the little things right, doing the things that takes no talent, as Coach Sirianni loves to say, and we should be all right.
And as you work to get this offense rolling, maybe weekly, how have things changed or adapted as you're trying to get it right, or has it stayed the same this season, trying to get this offense going?
Yeah, you adapt, but it just kind of hone in and focus on more the little things. That's how you get it to going. I feel like that's how you change it up. Obviously the last two games we played. Before going to bye, it seemed like we figured everything out and everything was clicking. In the last two games we played on offense, we didn't play to the level of expectation that we have. But I don't really say too much change. Obviously you focus a little bit more, but come to work every single day, continue to fall in love with the process, and you got to go out there and you just got to produce. And that's where we're at right now. Tired of talking about it, just going out there and making plays and letting the game come to us.
No secret, no Lane Johnson, tough to overcome. What have you seen from Fred to overcome that big challenge, that big hole on the Eagles' offensive line?
Yeah, anytime you lose lanes, it's tough. He's a heck of a player, Hall of Fame player. I think he's the best player on our team, to be completely honest. But we got so much trust in Fred. I'm happy that Fred is back here. I think the energy that he brought, the times that he came into the game, he's played at a high level. He's a star in this league, in my opinion, and I'm excited for him to be able to go show that to the Eagles and go able to show that to all other 31 teams. Because at the end of the day, this is a business, and we know what his contract is, and I love Fred, to be completely honest. So I want him to go out there, play at a high level, to show everybody what's he about, and he can get what he deserves.
Talk about playing in another divisional game. You haven't had anybody in your division in a little bit. How important are getting those wins?
Yeah, they're always big. We have a great opportunity to do something, or to get us closer to something that we want to do, and that's clinch the East. So that's on our mind, obviously. But we know that it's hard to go out there and win. We know how good they are on all phases, and especially when Dak's healthy, and which he is, and playing at a high level. So it's gonna be a tough matchup, but we look forward to it. What are you doing, Like, why am I answering the question? All I see is his face. But we look forward to it.
Hey, Saquon, if you look at your career, your best, yards per game, yards per carry, comes in November and end of December. Is there something late in the year or back that allows you to do that?
I did not know that. Okay. That gives me something to look forward to. I guess, to be honest, that's how I train. Real football happens later in the season. And that's where you want to be at your best, and especially when you get into that run to go into the playoffs and then get into the playoffs. So I did not know that stat. I don't know why. I never even looked at that, to be honest. But I guess that's a product of my mindset and the way that I train off season, the way that I try to train during the season, and hopefully that stays true, and I'm able to turn it up and get the run game going for the offense.
It's the same thing for some other backs. Like Derrick Henry, for instance, there's a school of thought. It gets cold, and it gets late in the year, guys don't want to tackle as much.
Yeah.
Validity to that?
I think so. I think that could be true, but I'm gonna have to go with I don't know Derrick. Like, me and Derrick aren't best friends, but we keep in communication here and there, and I follow him on social media, and I'm able to see how he trains, and I know kind of the work that he puts in. So no surprise. The guys who put in the work in the off season, the guys who put in the work during the season. When it gets later in the season, we stay healthy and whatever to break off big runs and and dominate games.
Sorry, with the QB plus one game, not as much of a factor or used as much this year in terms of like zone reads and RPOs. Has that had any impact on the run game?
I've missed the first part. QB
with
plus.
QB one run game.
Oh,
in terms
QB.
of like zone reads.
Yeah.
Specifically when unblocked defender, he's taking on they're taking a player out and they have to account for him in the run game.
Yeah.
Do you feel like just not having as much of that has affected the run game?
No, I think there's so much that goes into it. There's a lot of stuff that goes into why I feel like that we're not executing, at the level we executed last year. And like I always say, you gotta look inside first, and that starts with me. I gotta be better. I gotta make more plays. But I think there's more than goes into it than just we're not doing QB runs, in my opinion.
The defense is taking that away.
I don't know. I think defense is just trying to stop the run. That's kind of the best way. They're doing a really good job of making it one line in defense, muddying things up, movements, creating penetration, all the things that since the beginning of football that it's harder to run the football. The defense been doing a really good job of that, and we just got to get back to playing our style of football. And I got to make plays when they're there.
I was going to ask you about that too, because the stack box rate is still very high. I was wondering if you guys, after the success against the Giants, did you see any benefit of that in terms of at least against the Packers, that maybe they weren't stacking it as much, or do you think you need multiple weeks of a certain amount of run success to make them not stack the box as much?
I'm kind of confused with that question. Are you saying they're stacking the box more or
They're
not?
still stacking the box a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you saw any incremental change after the Giants game.
No. I think, I say this in a humble way. I'm not trying to be arrogant. If you come and play the Philadelphia Eagles and your mindset is not to not stop us from running the football, then you probably should be fired, in my opinion. So no matter what we do, that's just what happens when you have the year that we had last year and you have 2,000 yards rushing. I guess maybe the game we had against the Giants kind of, woke teams up again. But, yeah, we just got to do a better job. It's not really about, the numbers. I know you're into numbers. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it always comes down to what are we doing. And I firmly believe in that. I don't care if there's 20 guys in the box. If we run the play with the belief that it's going to pop and everyone, take care of their details, we should be all right.
With My Cause, My Cleats, why is Unite for Her and CHOP important to you?
Unite for Her, I'm using it because I have some people close to my family, friends who are basically family members that are going through a tough time, and me partnering up with CHOP and having to walk in April 26, 2026, were two main focus. So usually you do one foundation or one event on both cleats, and I wanted to kind of show love to both.
Nick Sirianni has been so honest this season about protecting priority number one in this offense. You see Jalen Hurts' success in that, no matter what it looks like. How have you seen that stay consistent with this offense as it's evolving?
I mean, there's a stat out there. We're 95 or higher than 90% winning when we don't turn the ball over and when we win the turnover battle. That's a product of having really good coaches, and that's a product of having really good players. So we harp on that. We focus on that, take pride in it, and that's what we got to continue doing with making more explosive plays. There's so many things that go into it being, a better team, but we definitely do take pride in that.
Does it ever get old preparing for a game like this?
No, especially not when you're battling against a program with the history that it has. They always have a depth of talented players, and then just being in this division as well just makes it a little bit more special.
Vic Fangio has been so honest with us, saying how far you have come this season, what we're seeing on the field, you making plays the past couple of weeks. What has this been like to, it seems at least from the outside, turn the corner on the field?
Just staying down, staying true to myself, being diligent with, my faith and just coming into work. I give a lot of credit to, the guys here in the locker room with helping me catch up to, pace with the playbook, learning the culture here when I first got here in April, and just letting me be myself, but at the same time feeling at home with the guys. So, some things take time, but, never doubting myself, never wavering from my faith. and, you know, just staying down and understanding that, you know, things will turn, and when they do, you just got to be ready. And that's just what I've been doing.
It's no secret at times it can be impatient that you want it to click right away. How hard is that to come into a new team and learn a new system, learn a new playbook? We talk about it all the time when you guys come in, and I think a lot of people just expect it to click the next day.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, football is football, but, you know, sometimes there's different things like technique, you know, coverage-wise, what you need to do, how you should do things. Playing a lot of different defenses, you know, some coverages you think is universal, but sometimes, you know, different schemes you can run. Let's say you run quarters, everybody run quarters different. It's probably 3 to 4 ways that you can run it. So understanding how a team runs their system, and then getting more comfortable with playing and then understanding the defense as a whole, not just your job, but knowing where your help is, what you can do and what you can't do.
Very interesting. And you look at this game on Sunday, you look at the receivers the Cowboys have. Do you look forward to a matchup like this when you look at the receivers on the other side of the field?
Yeah, it's always fun because you get to go against a group that's super talented, and you know that I don't think anybody in this league will want anything else. You know, if you're going against, if you're whatever position you play, you know, if you're a receiver, you want to go against, you know, guys who got great DBs, or a running back, great D-line, or linebackers, just to compete. And I think that's what this game is all about ultimately, is just a competition and just finding a way. So it's fun to go against great top-tier receivers.
Awesome. Well, good luck on Sunday.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you.